Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our first City Council meeting for the month of March. Happy March to everyone. Our meeting will first start with an opening prayer to be led by Pastor Matt Walls from Southside Baptist Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Miss Anna Milliard from Northside High School. She's also an intern with Keep Warner Robins. She's also an intern with the Communications Department for the City of Warner Robins through the PI program. All right, if everyone will please stand so that Pastor Walls can start us off in prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, first of all, thank you for allowing us to live in the great city of Warner Robins. I know I've lived here since 1987, and what a blessing it is to be around such amazing people. Thank you for the mayor and the city council and all that they do to just make our city a great place to live. We pray that you would be with the goings-on of this meeting. Again, we just pray that you give the council members and the mayor wisdom as they make decisions on behalf of the citizens of Warner Robins. Thank you for your blessings upon this place, upon this area. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Walls, and also our intern, Miss Anna Milliard, for starting us off today. We will now take a picture with each of you. If one of you will come stand here, and council will come join you. And going back to the seat. All right, I officially call today's meeting to order. I will now request an adoption of the agenda with the following edits. Revising to add a proclamation for National Reading Month as item number 2 of the proclamations list. And also a motion, with the revision of moving executive session for personnel right after item number 3 on our agenda.
Mayor, I move to adopt the agenda with the addition of item number 2, proclamation of National Reading Month, and also to move the executive session to after number 3.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Hey, Mayor, I got the consent agenda today, and I wasn't here last week, and the minutes are in there. How do you guys want to handle that? Because I'm going to have to abstain from the minutes.
Madam City Attorney, could you clarify, under our code and charter, does he have to abstain from voting on the minutes because of his absence? No? That's what? Okay. Okay.
All right, so now we've made it to proclamations, awards, and presentations. We do have 5 proclamations for this month, but this is a very busy month in celebrating different groups and organizations. So if you all would please just bear with us through the reading of these proclamations. There are individuals here to accept the proclamations, and this is very important to them, so it's important to us. We will start with a proclamation for Girl Scouts Day. Everyone who is here to accept this proclamation, if you would please come forward. While I read the proclamation to you, I will then present it to you and we'll take a photo. And for all others here for their particular proclamation, when I announce your proclamation, I ask that you follow suit with these young leaders coming up right now. Stand here in the front so that I can read it, present it to you as a group, and take a photo. And we'll keep moving in that order. Thank you. All right. Thank you all for being here today as we read the proclamation in your honor. This proclamation is for Girl Scouts Day, dated March the 12th, 2026. Whereas March 12th, 2026 marks the 114th anniversary of Girl Scouts of the United States of America, the largest and most impactful leadership program for girls in the world. And whereas the Girl Scouts movement began on March the 12th, 1912, when Juliet Daisy Gordon Lowe, a native of Savannah, Georgia, organized a group of 18 girls and provided them with the opportunity to develop physically, intellectually, socially, and spiritually. And whereas, for over a century, the Girl Scouts of the United States of America has advanced its mission to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. And whereas, today, more than 50 million women, trailblazers, visionaries, and leaders are Girl Scouts alums who have made the world a better place. And whereas, since its beginnings, the Girl Scouts has emphasized public service and civic engagement, fostering a sense of community in girls. And whereas, during a time when girls are experiencing increased levels of anxiety, stress, loneliness, and depression, Girl Scouts continues to provide community, consistency, and connection for girls across the world and is a safe haven in all the uncertainty. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself on behalf of council and the citizens of our great city, do hereby proclaim the day of March 12th, 2026 as Girl Scouts Day in the city of Warner Robins. We applaud the Girl Scouts movement and the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia for providing girls with a secure, inclusive, all-girls space where they can hone their skills and develop leadership abilities. I encourage our community to celebrate with our Girl Scouts for their achievements, motivation, and commitment to public service. So let's give it up for our Girl Scouts troop who's here visiting us today in celebration of Girl Scouts Day.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you so much.
All right. So the individuals, the troops that were here was a collaboration of 4 different local troops. And I wanted to make sure that you all knew that. And they did receive a official patch for the City of Warner Robins government. So it's always exciting to get patches. I used to be a Brownie, and I liked to get in patches when I was a Brownie too. All right. Next up is a proclamation for National Reading Month. Anyone here to accept this, please come forward. We do have United Way Read United here, so let's give them an applause as they walk up. I want to thank each of you for being here with us today and for all you do in our community. All right, National Reading Month is March of 2026. Whereas National Reading Month, celebrating each year during March, serves as a nationwide initiative to encourage children, teens, and adults to embrace the joy and importance of reading. And whereas this month-long observance builds upon the momentum of National Read Across America Day, created by the National Education Association in 1998. To foster a lifelong love of reading and promote literacy across all communities. And whereas, throughout March, schools, libraries, families, and community organizations unite to host read-alouds, literacy events, book drives, and activities that highlight reading as an essential skill and a source of inspiration, imagination, and opportunity. And whereas, the City of Warner Robins, Georgia, recognizes that strong literacy skills are vital to educational success, workforce readiness, and the overall well-being of our citizens. And whereas the Read United program, led by United Way of Central Georgia, together with Houston County School District, Parkwood Elementary School, and Miller Elementary Schools, thanks to the City of Warner Robins government funding that initiative, works in partnership with the City of Warner Robins to promote early literacy, strengthen reading proficiency, and ensure that every child has an access to books, mentors, and resources needed to cultivate a lifelong love of learning. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself on behalf of City Council and the citizens of our city, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2026 officially as National Reading Month. We encourage all residents to celebrate the power of reading, participate in literacy-focused events, and support efforts such as Read United that strengthen literacy and expand opportunity throughout our community. So let's give a great round of applause for National Reading Month. And before I present this proclamation to this group of individuals who are inspiration to all of our children here, I do want to tell you that as of last year, Houston County has received 2 schools that I mentioned, Miller and Parkwood, with the Read United program. We were not on the list before, but now we are. And that came from a ARPA grant the city granted. Council and I, we all touched and agreed. We are huge advocates for literacy. and the love of learning. So I wanted to make sure I express that. They are in need of more and more volunteers. So if you love to read to children, please see someone in the red before they leave. This is essential, and sign up to volunteer and help these children in our schools learn to read more efficiently for their grade level. So thank you again for being here. Thanks for all that you all do inside of our community, not just with Read United, but also for everything that United Way does, reaching the city limits of Warner Robins. So council, this happened, well, the Read United Warner Robins is because of us. So if you guys want to come and get a picture too, make sure you come. But these are the ones that make it happen for us every single week. Thank you. Okay, now next up is a proclamation for Government Finance Professionals Week. Anyone here to receive this, please come forward. All right, so this is Government Finance Professionals Week, March 16th through 20th, 2026. Whereas, government finance professionals perform essential services that ensure the effective, transparent, and responsible management of public funds for the benefit of residents throughout the state of Georgia. And whereas, government finance professionals serve their communities through their expertise in budgeting, accounting, treasury management, procurement, debt administration, auditing, fiscal reporting, and long-range financial planning, thereby supporting the lawful and efficient operation of state, county, and municipal governments. And whereas, these dedicated professionals uphold the highest standards of ethics, integrity, accuracy, and accountability, fostering public trust and safeguarding the fiscal health of local government institutions. And whereas, the Georgia Government Finance Officers Association represents finance professionals statewide and advances excellence in government, financial management through education, training, and leadership development. And whereas, GFOA and its member jurisdictions have established and sponsored Government Finance Professionals Week to acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of public finance professionals and to increase awareness of the vital financial services they provide that benefit all Georgians. And whereas, it is fitting and proper to recognize, honor, and express appreciation for the dedication, professionalism, and public service of government finance professionals whose expertise supports the fiscal stability and long-term success of Georgia's local governments. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself, on behalf of council and the citizens of our great city, do hereby proclaim the week of March the 16th through March the 20th, 2026, officially as Government Finance Professionals Week. I encourage all residents, elected officials, and community organizations to join in recognizing and expressing appreciation for the dedicated government finance professionals across our community and the state of Georgia. So let's give a great round of applause for Government Finance Professionals Week. So standing up in front of us, we do have our director, Dr. Hall, and we also have our assistant director, Miss Lydia Humphreys. So give a round of applause for them as well. All right, now we have a proclamation for National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Anyone here to accept this proclamation, please come forward. I will state, as they're coming forward, that this proclamation is dedicated to 4 individuals who are here with us today. One is Mr. Craig Woodyard. He is the director of our Stormwater Department for the City of Warner Robins. We have Hope McDuffie and Miss Pansy Thomas and Miss Danielle Ray. So thank all of you for being here today. Did I get everybody's name? Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm now going to read this proclamation for National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month for March 2026. Each individual standing up here does have their own proclamation dedicated to them as well. Whereas colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States and the third most commonly diagnosed cancer for both men and women. And whereas it is estimated that in 2026, over 150,000 Americans will be diagnosed with this highly preventable disease. And whereas screening is the most effective way to prevent colorectal cancer or to find it early when it is most treatable. Yet many adults are not up to date with their screenings. And whereas the American Cancer Society and other leading health organizations recommend that individuals at average risk begin regular colorectal cancer screenings at the age of 45. And whereas observing Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month through March provides a vital opportunity to educate our community about risk factors, the importance of early detection, and the life-saving potential of screening. And whereas Dress in Blue Day, I'm wearing my blue, Dress in Blue Day will be observed on Friday, March the 6th. I'll say that again. Dress in Blue Day, this shade of blue, right? This royal blue, Northside Eagle blue, original, will be observed on Friday, March the 6th. This is this Friday, to bring attention to the disease and honor those affected by it. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself, on behalf of council and the citizens of our great city, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2026 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Warner Robins. I encourage all citizens, businesses, and organizations to go blue and join in activities that increase awareness and prevention of this disease. So let's give a great round of applause for National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you, Mayor Patrick, Council, for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. First of all, I'd like to thank the two ladies here. Danielle Ray is a registered nurse with Emory Hospital, and she's continued to support us with the city's colorectal cancer awareness program. Also, Ms. Pansy Thomas has been a resident of the city of Warner Robins for over 80 years now. And with that being said, also, in 2011, she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, underwent surgery in 2012, and I'm proud to say she's been cancer-free now for 14 years. We did have one individual, Hope McDuffie, who is a service writer for our Public Works Department. She was unable to be here this evening. Unfortunately, she's had a diagnosis against with colon cancer. She's gone through some surgeries, and she wasn't able to make it this evening, but prayers with her, and she's still reaches out and was upset she couldn't be here this evening, but I know that she's going to beat this and be a cancer survivor as well. I myself am now a 3-time cancer survivor of colorectal cancer. It came back in my kidney and then in my right upper lung, and but we're going strong. I go next month. We're hoping to go 2 times in a row for clean, good results. So we're working on that as we speak here. As Mayor Patrick said, 158,850 people will be diagnosed in 2026. And as I was doing my research on this for this year, something that really jumped out at me, because we always think of this as being an old person's disease, and it's not. Incidences among Americans ages 20 to 39 is projected to increase by 90% by 2030. Not too far away, but 90%. And so I encourage everybody, 45 or older, to speak to your doctor about getting screened. And as the mayor said, wear blue on Friday. We'll go with Northside Blue, that's okay. I'm not from here, so it's all good. And plus the mayor is, and so I definitely want to support her in that as well. But also, thank you again, council, mayor, Mr. Drinkert, for all of your support as I've gone through my journey, and always being there for me to talk to and support me in my times that I've needed off. So thank you very much.
All right, now we've made it to our final proclamation. Thank you all so much for your patience with us. The final proclamation for today will be one for Warner Robins Founders Week. Anyone who is here to accept this proclamation, please come forward. And I do believe this is some of the members, these are some of the members from the Warner Robins Heritage Society. I may not have said the organization's true name. Oh, I got the thumbs up. I got it right. The Warner Robins Heritage Society. Let's give a great round of applause for them as they come forward. All right. So for Warner Robins Founders Week, honoring the history of the city of Warner Robins, March the 7th through the 14th, 2026. Whereas in 1941, at the behest of Congress, a small whistle-stop town named Wellston was chosen as the future site of the War Department's newest Army Air Corps depot. And whereas numerous residents, including members of the Fagan family, in the depot's chosen location banded together to donate land once a part of the Fagan plantation as a site which became Robbins Airfield. And whereas on March the 5th, 1943, the town of Wellston was incorporated as the town of Warner Robins, named after General Augustine Warner Robins, mentor to the Robbins Airfield's first commander, who is Lieutenant Colonel Charles E. Thomas. And whereas during World War II, Robbins Airfield served as an aircraft maintenance depot, drawing in workers from all different backgrounds to populate Warner Robins, forever changing the face of the town. And whereas in 2011, the Warner Robins Heritage Society was created with the goal of being a bridge to the future by honoring the city's past, by connecting residents to their history through preservation, events, and education. And now therefore be it proclaimed by myself on behalf of City Council and the citizens of our great city, do hereby proclaim the week of March the 7th through March the 14th, 2026 as Warner Robins Founders Week. I encourage all citizens to join in celebrating the many accomplishments of both its past and present residents and recognizing the people and places that built the city of Warner Robins. So let's give a great round of applause for Warner Robins Founders Week and the individuals that make it happen. Everybody's supposed to speak.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a group of people here that have just a real eagerness we've stayed here in Warner Robins. We chose to stay here. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of people right here that have lived here a long time. There's a lot of history right here in this group. And we love doing the history of Warner Robins, finding out new things. And because our birthday is March the 5th here in Warner Robins, Mayor, we'd like to give you a little birthday present from the Heritage Society.
Oh, is it a cool shirt you're wearing?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. And we will be having lots of events within the next week, including a USO-style dance, which will be Saturday the 13th, thank you. We do have maps in the back of Warner Robins when it was just a mere infancy it was just a really tiny town, and some of us were here back when it was that tiny, and we encourage y'all to stay and look at the maps and take part of all the things that we have in town to celebrate 83 years of Warner Robins. A bunch of us have seen this town grow, and we like it, and we appreciate the mayor and the council and everything that y'all do for this town to keep it the way it is, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right, the Warner Robins Heritage Society wants to remind you that there are some really cool maps at the back beyond the stairs where the portraits of all the past mayors are located. And I think they have some cupcakes too, so that's a really cool treat. You know we're going into executive session today, so you can go right on back there, see the history of our city, and then you can wait for us to come back whenever that motion is called. So thank you. All right, so we are back. Now we have our work session items, who will be led by Mr. James Drinkard, our COO and City Administrator. Mr. Drinkard?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a few items on tonight's work session, one of which the TAG grant will actually be incorporated into the discussion of the rest of the agenda. But I do want to run through those. The first thing that I want to do is, as has kind of become a tradition, is to address the land use item on tonight's agenda. So I'm going to ask Darren Curtis to start making his way up. In the meantime, City Attorney Mize, if you would not mind going ahead and speaking to the public hearing item, which corresponds to item 5 as well on tonight's agenda.
The city has received an application for a permit to be issued by the governing authority of the city of Warner Robins for the relocation of a burial ground, the McCoy Matthews Riles Burial Ground, which is currently located.
Yeah, there you go.
The city has received, can you hear me? Okay. The city has received an application for a permit to be issued for the relocation of the McCoy Matthews Riles Burial Ground, which is currently located on South Houston Lake Road, with that burial ground being moved to Magnolia Park Cemetery if the permit is approved and issued. There are some statutory factors, and the city has received all required statutory information, which are 5 items: proof of ownership of the land in question, archaeological report conducted by Stephen A. Hammock, which identifies the graves to be relocated, a survey plat showing the area on which the burial ground currently is located, a genealogical plan which also identified descendants and next of kin to be properly notified both by the attorneys who will present to you on behalf of the owners of that current burial ground and the city as well via notice in our legal organ, which is the Houston Home Journal, as well as a mitigation plan. You'll have an opportunity tonight to hear from Mr. Robert Tuckle and Miss Mary Grace McCoy, who are representing the Annie C. Riles Trust and the trustees of that entity, which are John S. Riles, Michael Hale Rape, and Sandra R. Strickland, and answer any questions that you may have. If after hearing that information you are satisfied, then you will make a vote, a motion to approve the permit and to have it issued and to adopt the mitigation plan as presented, unless you have any changes. I will say that was prepared by an expert in the field, and you could, absent any questions you may have, rely upon that information. We will be required to conduct a public hearing consistent with the statute which governs this issue. In that, we will adjourn from our regular meeting. We will enter into a public hearing in which anyone who wishes to be heard on the matter and the issuance of the permit may address and speak to you, gentlemen and Madam Mayor. After that, you will close out the public hearing, and then we will return to our regular meeting, and you will see that item 5 will be the motion, if you so choose to make it, on the issuance of that permit. I will add, as a final matter, should you choose to issue it, we must follow it up with a written letter within 30 days, which will basically be the authority to issue the permit and allow the relocation to take place.
Council members, if there are no questions with respect to the process and procedure, any questions relative to the subject itself, I would recommend we hold until the public hearing. Okay, very good. With that, I'll ask Mr. Curtis to address the land use item on tonight's agenda.
So the request to rezone the property located along Gunn Road. It is directly adjacent to the north of 6040 Watson Boulevard, which is the Assembly Church. The The thing to note about this is that this was some years ago, the property was rezoned from R1 to R4 in anticipation of a sale for a housing development that sale never took place. The church has retained ownership through the years and now wishes to rejoin this property with the main church campus property. And so in order to do that, it has to be rezoned in order to share the same zoning so that a plat can be signed by my office. So we recommend approval of this request. Happy to answer questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Darren. Okay, with that, we will proceed through the other items on the agenda, beginning with our consent agenda. So we have a few items on there, the minutes from February 17th. We have a renewal of our Carasoft ePlan software. This is a $65,248.92 item. The ePlan software is what is used by several of our departments for submission of development plans from the private sector, review of those plans, and communication between the city and the developers. So that is a renewal. We've been using that software for a few years now quite effectively. We have employee promotions, including 11 employees, 2 from our utilities department and 9 in our fire department. Now, I want to take a second and address employee promotions because to me the word is a little bit of a misnomer. The way we go about this, it is a competitive process. So we go through an open call for applicants and a interview process, et cetera. So this is a competitive process. It's not what I would consider a traditional promotion, but under our policies, if an employee is advancing from one position to a higher position in the organization, by our policies, it's called a promotion, which is why they are presented to you. We have another software renewal. This is for Fifth Asset, which is also called Debt Book. It's $45,000. This software is used for debt management, accounting, lease management, and generation of related audit-ready reports by our finance department. Again, this is a renewal of software that we have been using for a number of years. We have an amendment to the natural gas services contract with Robins Air Force Base. This is actually a very simple change. It does not change any aspect of the agreement. However, each year, the federal government changes the tracking numbers for all of its outside contracts. So this is acknowledging the new tracking number. That's all it does. Then we have a number of purchasing items. The first is Real Turf Solutions. That's $58,853.75. That is funded through our TAG grant. I'm going to come back to that when we get to the other side of all of the purchasing items. This is dealing with some plantings along Russell Parkway. We're basically taking down a dilapidated fence that's owned by the city and replacing that with tree plantings to replace that barrier. But we'll discuss that in a little more detail momentarily. Then we have Dana Safety Supply, $18,255.63. It's for upfitting of a police department Ford Explorer. That is currently an unmarked vehicle. Unfortunately, we've had some folks who seem to like to hit our police vehicles, causing some damage, so we have to take one of those unmarked cars. We're going to put that into service as a marked vehicle at this point. So typically, if we purchase and upfit an Explorer for police use, it costs us about $74,000, so this is quite a significant savings, and Chief Fisher feels this is the best path forward. Then we have Just FOIA. This is a $12,608.20 add-on to existing software licensing. Just FOIA is the system used by our city clerk as well as by our police records unit and other parts of the city in responding to, managing, and facilitating open records requests. This particular add-on will allow for the required redactions to be made from certain documents. It could be personal information, PPE, things like that. No, personal health data and stuff like that from records within the software, so it's a more efficient, effective process. So that is all of our purchasing items. Under new business, we have the application that Ms. Mize spoke to a moment ago with respect to relocation of a cemetery, the rezoning that Mr. Curtis just spoke about with respect to the assembly at Warner Robins. We have a joint consent agreement. This is an application from Mid-State Energy Commission. Mid-State Energy is a joint natural gas operation between the City of Warner Robins, City of Perry, and Atlanta Gas Light. Recently, in January, the safety plan relative to natural gas lines operated by Mid-State Energy was submitted to the state. This consent agreement simply acknowledges that safety plan and commits to following that safety plan. We have a classification plan update. This relates to positions within our utility department and addressing improved efficiencies identified by our Director of Utilities, Monty Walters. It does not result in the increase in the number of approved positions within the department, but it deactivates 4 positions: compliance training officer, pollution control coordinator, pollution control technician, and utility locates crew leader. Creates 2 new positions: an assistant utility maintenance supervisor for water and an assistant utility maintenance supervisor for sewer, and then increases the strength of 2 existing positions: utility maintenance crew leader and heavy equipment operator. Again, this is to address some efficiencies with respect to how we handle compliance, training, pollution control. It wraps those into those new maintenance supervisor positions, but more importantly gives us some specific boots on the ground with respect to the utility maintenance and equipment operations. Finally, we have a requested change to our Veterans Issues Board. Veterans Issues Board is an advisory group on imagine that, veterans issues. When that board was originally constituted, it was constituted with a membership of 18. They have a hard time achieving a quorum with 18 members, and we have a hard time keeping enough appointments to fuel that board. So the members of the Veterans Issues Board have requested that the membership of that body be reduced from 18 to 9. So that is that other item. So with that, I'm going to come back to the TAG grant and ask Ms. Tiffany Bowen with Keep Warner Robins Beautiful. She's the coordinator of the TAG grant to come forward. Councilman
I had a
Malcolm.
question before you moved on to that next item. With this Veterans Board, since you had 18 and you're reducing it to 9, who gets to choose who stays and who leaves?
So actually, there are 9 members, so we're okay. We don't have 18 at this time, so nobody has to be asked to leave. Tiffany.
Good evening, everybody. So on your agenda, there's an item for $58,000, and that constitutes 60 trees being planted along Russell Parkway, and Coleman Boulevard, whereas Mr. Drinkard said there's currently a dilapidated fence. It is a chain link fence. 30 of those trees will be our new city tree, the tulip poplar, and 30 will be a golden ginkgo. Yes, it is a male-only cultivar, so we don't have to worry about in 20 years it producing the smelly fruit. So no mess from that. And then no single species, so no monoculture there. But it will create a beautification area where currently there's none. It will also create shade where, again, currently there's none. There is just a chain link fence. And for those of you who are familiar with Russell Parkway, That stretch in particular is just roadway that creates an area where people can just fly by and not really realize what speed limit they're doing in an area that's not made to be 60 miles per hour. So those trees, as they grow, will visually shrink the corridor without actually shrinking the corridor. And studies have shown that as trees do that, that allows motorists to think, hey, I should slow down a little bit and do the actual speed limit, thus reducing another safety hazard there as well. So nothing but benefits for these trees, and it is 100% TAG, so Trees Across Georgia grant funded. So the city doesn't come out of pocket anything at all for this. It is funded by the Georgia Forestry Commission through the United States Forestry Service grant.
Mr. Drinkard, I just want to thank you for hearing my cries on that fence and jumping on that and taking care of it. And not only taking care of that chain link fence, but going another step above and organizing other people involved in this and actually beautifying that area down here so it turns away from an eyesore to looking something beautiful. I want to thank you so much for doing that.
Yes, sir. I'd like to, if I could, point out Craig Clifton. I know he's floating around in the back somewhere. There he is. Come on out where people can see you, Craig. Craig is our Public Works Director. The idea of going with a tree planting in that area was actually his, so I do want to call him out for that.
I do. Craig, thank you for taking my phone calls on that, listening to me and making sure that happens, it gets done. I really appreciate it a lot, Craig, and all the work that you put into it. You very elevated. Instead of just tearing down the fence, you took it to a whole nother level, my brother. Appreciate it.
Yep. And that is common of Craig and actually all of our directors finding ways to take a relatively simple request and find a way to elevate and take it up a notch. Speaking of some of our other directors, at this point, I'm going to ask Preston Puser, our Director of Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Services, to come forward. He's going to lead the next two items of discussion on tonight's agenda. The first deals with our lifeguard program for 2026, and then he's also going to discuss concessions for our recreation facilities. Preston? Hey.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have been in the midst of a lifeguard shortage nationwide for over a decade. I've been kind of fighting this battle for several cities along the way. The key is we have to pay them. There is a lot of competition in this area for lifeguards. We have Rigby's, we have the natatorium. We're currently paying our lifeguards $15 an hour. Last summer, we did not have enough lifeguards to stay open. So my proposal for this year, going into the budget year, is to raise the pay for lifeguards to from $15 an hour to $20 an hour. One strategy that I've used in a previous city was to also have a retention bonus. In that previous city, we had a hard time. We had two pools and we couldn't keep both of them open. We had to alternate. Once we raised the pay and offered the retention bonus, we were fine. We kept two pools open for the whole summer. We'd like to kind of enhance. I don't like staying status quo in anything we do. I want to keep moving forward. And to do that, the goal this year is to keep that facility at Fountain Park open from basically Memorial Day to Labor Day. And if we have enough lifeguards, I'd like to keep it open on Saturdays through the month of August, which would be a little bit something we've done differently. So basically our lifeguards are our first responders. They are the first on scene because they are there. Speaking from experience, our dispatch time to get firefighters on scene in most cities is around 4 minutes, and that's the same thing we have here. Station 3 would be the responding station. It's about 4 minutes, and I can assure you that 4 minutes is a lifetime for a 16-year-old kid handling that situation. This year we will be training hand-in-hand with the firefighter EMTs at Station 3 on 3 separate occasions. There's 3 shifts at that station, so we'll be doing 3 training days. So all of those shifts will get to know our lifeguards, and our lifeguards will get to know everybody on that shift. Hopefully when the season starts, we will never see the fire department there. Lifeguards are trained to make sure that there's nothing water-related that happens. If they're doing their job, there's not a problem in the aquatics section of this. However, we've had medicals. Unfortunately, in college, I was one of the first to get to a cardiac arrest. And I can assure you that 4 or 5 minutes is an eternity waiting to hear those sirens. So I'd like to treat them like the first responders they are, raise the pay so we can be competitive locally. And I'd like to offer a retention bonus. One of my previous cities, it was $1,000 retention bonus at the end of the season if they miss less than 3 of their scheduled shifts. We currently are down to 1 pool. The pool at Memorial hasn't been in use in 2 years. And so we're just at 1 pool. Our goal is 12 lifeguards for Fountain. So, any questions? I've got Miranda Nelson and the chief's also available if you have any questions about the training side.
Was there any plans on reopening the second pool?
We would have to have 24 lifeguards. And right now, I'm not sure about the viability of opening that pool. I'm not sure of the status. It has, typically, if it's sitting that long, if we get through this season and we haven't decided to do something else with that pool, if this is successful, we can look at it. But it would also take the renovation of that pool, getting it ready. So that would be a rather large budget request. Never say never, but we're hoping that this change will spur enough lifeguards. We will, as soon as this airs on TV, we will probably start getting calls. So. Okay. All right. Anybody good with lifeguards? Any questions? Okay. That'll go on the next available agenda. So, the other work session is discussion on concession stands. I know that Mayor and I have chatted on multiple occasions, and it's been a conversation for you as a body for a long time. You'll recall I stood up here several months ago we had the parents group that wanted to come and help us out, and then we would use them. They would start running the concession stands, and there would be for enhancements. They would raise funds for enhancements. We talked on and off with that group until about the holidays, and that kind of fell through. So now we're back just speaking with you guys tonight to see if there's anything you would like to add or anything, any thoughts you had on concessions. We did go out for, on July 18th, we went out for RFP. The deadline was August 3rd. We did have 3 proposals submitted. The committee did select one of those, and then that's kind of when we started chatting with the parents group, so we had to kind of put it on the back burner. Purchasing has reached out to the selected vendor, and they are still good to go. And I'd like to bring that to the council at the next available agenda.
Let them know it's a local vendor.
It is a local vendor.
Would that be the North Houston and ball fields?
It would be North Houston, it would be all of the ball fields. Right now, we're talking at the North Houston Sports Complex, inside and outside, Tanner, and Simpson and Peavy. Simpson and Peavy hopefully is about to be under construction here in the next couple of months, so it won't be in play.
So you're not including Dolores Tolliver?
Dolores Tolliver, not sure that there's concessions in Dolores Tolliver. Is there a concession stand in Dolores Tolliver? We could look at that from time to time, then, yeah. We could look at that.
Omit that part.
We can add
in
that to it,
regard.
definitely.
Yeah.
They do have the concessions at Dolores Tolliver, but I don't think there's any games played.
Right, it's just
So that's
Dolores Tolliver,
Not organized
Just practice
sports.
only. We have some very few games there. It's really just it acts as the kind of a recreation center for that area, teen center right next to the boys club. So we can look at it, but these are, the main focus on this one would be where we're playing baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, football on those outdoor facilities and the indoor facility in North Houston.
What would need to happen to start having games played there and getting that park involved in some of the scheduling and the basketball and other
We have,
activities?
we're finishing up our basketball league now for youth basketball. We could do some adults there possibly. The hours of that facility aren't typically not open at night. Again, it's kind of a day-to-day facility, so during the day. Yeah, when we are looking at all of our facility operations hours.
Where are we at repairing that damaged floor at Dolores Tolliver? What was the final with that? I didn't hear anything else about that.
The only floor I know there is in the old police substation. Was there another part of the floor?
No, the basketball gym floor was damaged.
I've not seen that. And I've been in Dolores Tolliver.
It may have been repaired before.
It should have been repaired by now. If not, then I want to know why.
I've been there a lot. I have not noticed that, but I can take a look, but I think it's, yeah.
It just, we all talked about it, but I don't know what the end result of that repair was. Because it was a moisture problem with the floor or something like that, was it, Mayor?
I think it was repaired.
Yes, it was. If I may answer, yes, it was a moisture problem. And it should have been repaired by now.
I believe it was repaired before I got here and maybe even before Mr. Drinker got here.
I believe it may have been 2.5, 3 years ago at this point. We did have discussions, and there was authorization from this body to proceed with the repair of that floor. So I believe that has been accomplished, and there is no longer an issue relative to the integrity of the floor of that facility.
I think we should have known that because it was an issue for all of us before you got here.
I didn't know we had that issue.
And if the floor is intact, I think we should start scheduling basketball games and practice for our Little League basketball program over there because it's a great facility.
We can definitely have practices there. Most of the teams really like to play at North Houston.
Why can't we play games there as well?
But
We can't. It just depends on what our customer wants. So.
But remember, Councilman, one of the complaints we got about that facility was if they shut it down for games and practices, then the community can't play. So that was one of the things that they came to us about because it just has one court instead of multiple courts like North Houston. We can look at having the games, but I just wanted to make sure you remember the complaints we got from them about closing it down for city business.
Yeah, but with that being said, and I'm in agreement, I remember that, but we grew up with this, and Mr. Holmes can testify to this. All these gyms closed down when they were scheduling games, just during the times when we had games and practices over the city.
I think that because my children do play basketball, we do practice over at Dolores Tolliver in the evening time, late at night. So it is being utilized for city business as far as basketball. I don't think that it's more convenient for all the games to be at North Houston because it's a much bigger facility. So.
And I just got confirmation that the repair was approved on May 6, 2024.
Real quick, just because I ride by it every night, and this weekend it was, Ted Wright was just packed with people. Have we considered the thought of having operational concessions out there of some sort?
We are. It's part of this is when we're having our programs out there. Track is just kicking off now. Our track program now, of course, football in the fall. Soccer is going to be using it over the summer. So, yes, sir. That's the idea. Was anytime we are doing operational games, that's what these concession stands are running.
So with that point, maybe we can look at having a plan for concessions at those areas that we don't typically use for games. So if there is a situation where a game is there or a tournament as either of them, we can quickly activate the plan for concessions.
Yes.
What do you think? Good. Okay.
At least have the option, like you say.
Yeah.
Also, Mayor, if I may, at the Dolores Tolliver Community Center, that field next to it, that was the field for that side of town.
Right.
And I would certainly like to see some life put back in there.
We've kept
Now, having said that, I'm not one to bite my tongue or hold back. It got to be where people are scared to come over there. Well, you're going to be scared until you put somebody over there. But most of these young people around this counter here, and my kids grew up playing ball over there, softball, baseball, and what have you. I would like to see the whole city with some new energy, new life.
Sewell Circle is legendary, raised a lot of kids.
So, Mayor and Council, if I could, building off of that, Mr. Pruser is working on a variety of items related to our facilities, the hours of operation, and steps that can be taken to activate those. He's looking at that as part of the 2027 budget because it will, in order to do some of that, it will require some arranging of things and potentially, depending on what we're trying to do, may require additional personnel beyond what we currently have. So he's putting those plans together and it will be brought forward to you at a later date. Tonight, just to kind of bring us back, because I know we have a long night ahead of us, tonight is really about the concessions item and making sure that we've addressed any questions that you may have and are prepared and you're ready to move forward on the next agenda with considering an award on that RFP. And obviously, we will get you all the information related to that recommendation, just as we normally would. Tonight, because we were aware that the issue of concessions had been a topic of discussion for some time, we wanted to make certain that we were hearing any concerns that you may have so that we can address those properly either tonight or at the next meeting.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Kevin, Councilman. Mr. Pooser, thank you very much for all your hard work. You're putting a lot into it. I know you've kind of sat back and did a lot of reading the rooms, reading the city, and you've hit the ground running, and I appreciate it. There's a lot more than just this that you're doing, and I appreciate all your hard work. I want you to keep it up. We support you. I like what you're bringing to the table, understand about lifeguards and pay. That's about with anything. I'm in full support of what you're doing, and I appreciate all your hard work. I want to let you know that. And we're going to keep throwing things at you.
That's all right.
We'll keep working it, right? Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, kind of echoing what he said. The lifeguard situation, growing up in this town, there were two pools that I was fortunate to be able to swim in. Sewell was one of them, and Dry Lake is what we called it. It'll always be Dry Lake Park to me. But I grew up in those pools, and just knowing that we have that option, and we want to have great parks and recreation and cultural affairs here in this town. That's what this town was known for, that for years, decades, and it kind of started drifting away just because of the different opportunities that are out there for people. But if we provide, it's the age-old thing. If you build it, they will come. And I go to all over the Southeast and see some of the greatest recreation facilities I've ever seen in my life. And the work that you're doing now is the grunt work. Basically, it's the not so glamorous. It's the asking for money and holding out the beggar's hand all the time. But we got to do what we got to do to bring that. The money involved with people coming to our parks is insane. The amount of money that parents will pay for their kids to participate in a sport is unbelievable, and we've got to tap that market. That is a direct reflection on our city at all times. If you have the facilities, people will come from all over the state and the Southeast to be at them. So thank you again for the work you're doing.
To echo on what he's saying, if you build it, they'll come. It's still my grandest wish to see some sort of park facility on Tabor Drive with all the development that's happening over there off Ignico. We need something for kids to do on Tabor Drive.
Thank you.
Council members, that concludes all of the items on tonight's agenda, as well as the items that we had planned under the work session. I will call your attention at your seats. There are a couple of annual reports, one from our Department of Recreation, Parks and Cultural Services, the other from our police department. And next, at the next council meeting, we are planning a presentation by Chief Fisher to give you updates on public safety activity within the city. So if between now and then, if there are specific items that you would like Chief Fisher to address during the course of that presentation, if you would please either share those with myself or Chief Fisher so that we make sure we have the exact data available when he's standing up here. We want to make sure that we give you the information that you want and we don't leave you with unanswered questions. With that, Mayor and Council, are there any questions remaining on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drinkard, and everyone who came up to share some details about the work session items as well as the agenda. Now that we have completed all of the work session items, we now come to the point of our revised agenda for a public hearing. The public hearing is about an application for permit, and you'll learn more about this in just a moment. But before we open the public hearing, which is a requirement by our state government, we do have to have a motion to close this city council session and a motion to open up the session for the public hearing.
Mayor, I move to close this session of City Council and move towards the public hearing.
And I'll second that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson for both actions, seconded by Councilman Mack. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. We have now officially closed out our city council meeting for today, and we are now open for the public hearing. Our city attorney, Julia Mize, will lead us in this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would suggest if we might first hear from the representatives of the applicant for the permit. That's Mr. Robert Tuggle and Ms. Mary Grace McCoy. I see them approaching. If you might hear from them, ask any questions you may have, and then we would open the floor up to any interested party who may be present tonight to make any comment they may have. I will note that this public hearing has been properly advertised in the legal organ for Houston County 2 weeks prior to this hearing, so there's been notice provided directly to the descendants as identified and to the public at large of this hearing and the opportunity to be heard. And I'll just briefly restate that the public hearing is related in scope to the permit application that has been filed with the city requesting permission for the issuance of a permit for the relocation of the McCoy Matthews Riles burial ground, which is currently located on South Houston Lake Road, and if granted, would be moved to Magnolia Park Cemetery. And I believe we have before us Mr. Robert Tuggle and Ms. Mary Grace McCoy, and they are here to address you on the statutory elements of this permit application.
Thank you. Mayor, members of council, I'm Rob Tuggle, and I represent Mr. John Riles. Mr. Riles, would you stand up, please? Mr. Riles is a trustee of the Annie C. Riles Trust, and the Annie C. Riles Trust owns 11.5 acres at the corner of South Houston Lake Road and Russell Parkway. Located on that piece of property is a small cemetery called the McCoy Matthews Riles Cemetery. And I also have with me today Ms. Mary Grace Kimbrough. She's recently gotten married, that's fine. And Mary Grace is a recent graduate of law school and has helped me with this process, so she is here tonight. If I could, I'm going to pass out to each of you a copy of the petition. There's a petition and a mitigation plan right behind each one.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You already have one? All right, excellent.
Gentlemen, I believe you have
Okay.
a summary of the mitigation plan, but this is actually the petition, so you may want to accept this as well.
Make sure you have it.
Make sure you have all the information.
In the process of preparing for tonight, my client has gone through the statutory procedure for the relocation of a cemetery, and that process included having the cemetery surveyed, which they did, and then they also hired a genealogist who was used to locate the next of kin of the persons interred there at that cemetery. Of those persons, we've gotten affidavits from all of them. We sent out letters, received affidavits, and approvals for the relocation of the graves. They've also employed an archaeologist. The archaeologist has come up with a mitigation plan, which you should have before you now, and will also oversee the relocation of the graves along with McCullough Funeral Home. So I think my clients have met all of the Georgia and statutory requirements for the relocation of the cemetery, and we're here seeking the City of Warner Robins approval for the local municipality has to approve the relocation.
Gentlemen, if you have any questions of the representative applicant, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer whatever questions you may have. And Madam Mayor.
I have a question. It may not be the most professional question to ask in our setting, but as a citizen who is curious, I want to ask if you know, what's the process of removing old graves from one location to another to ensure that there are nothing left under the soil, because we don't want poltergeists?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about the poltergeist part of the process, but I can explain the archaeologist will oversee the process, because there are some unmarked graves there, so they will go in and they will go through the process of removing inches of soil at a time. Now, there are marked graves, and there's some more recent graves, and when I say recent, 30 or 40 years ago. So they may be in vaults, and that process may be simple, but the older graves where they will actually go in as an archaeologist and scrape away the soil to locate whatever remains there are. And do you remember the depth they go down?
Yeah, it's 2 to 3 inches.
2 or 3 inches at a time, but they'll go down several feet in order to make sure that they, which I guess 6 foot is the term you always hear. And
Excuse
as
me.
to the poltergeist, I'm sorry, I don't know about those. Yes, sir.
I see there's a removal of 1890s fence, so a
Yes.
fence that's been there since 1890. How far back do some of the graves go back beyond that?
That's pretty much when the cemetery was started, because a lot of we don't know exactly, because there's some unmarked graves, so it's hard to tell about the older ones.
So around 1890 is some of the
Yes.
earliest graves.
Mm. This, you probably go by this cemetery a lot, but it's located right on the edge of Houston Lake Road. And it will, as you know from your previous work on this, there's a Sprouts Market that's going into this location, so this cemetery would be surrounded by a busy road as well as just a paved parking lot.
Has the same family always owned this plot?
Yes.
Will there be any clergy present to pray over this operation?
That's
We have
not
not
a
addressed
statutory
that, but that's a good idea.
We need some prayer. Disturbing the,
Yes, sir, that's a great idea.
What about Pastor Bibb? Pastor Bibb, can you do it?
Yeah, we ain't talking about Sprouts going to be haunted.
We can let McCullough handle that. They got guys on staff. They got pastors on staff.
Not trying to make fun of the grave, but this is unique for me to hear, and just curious, as many of our citizens will be curious when you hear a public hearing about removing graves from the 1800s. So still want to bring some reality to the situation and our questions, but please don't take it as being disrespectful.
Yes.
Madam Mayor and gentlemen, if there are no more questions of Mr. Tuggle and Ms. Kimbrough, I would request that we open the floor to any interested party or citizen who wishes to make a comment or ask a question regarding the subject that we have just discussed. So if there is any interested party or citizen here who wishes to make a comment or be heard regarding the application that has been discussed and received by the city, you now have the floor to come up to the podium and be heard.
I do have one question I'd like to ask. Have we had anybody objecting?
No, sir. We had several family members who were just more curious about the process and what would happen with the gravestones, and all of the gravestones will be removed, and all of the graves will be relocated together in Magnolia Park Cemetery. They won't be spread out.
With that being said, may I ask, sir, incurring the cost at the new place, who incurs that cost of that plot?
The trust will incur all the cost of that.
If there are no other questions and there is no one wishing to be heard, I would request that there be a motion to close this public hearing and to reopen our regularly scheduled meeting.
I move to close the public hearing and reopen our regular meeting.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much. We appreciate your participation in our public hearing. All right, so now we are back into our official council meeting. We are picking up with item marked as 3 for formal public comments pertaining to the current agenda items only. If anyone is here and they have comments to make regarding agenda number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, you have a moment to approach the podium. Please state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes on the clock. Please understand and know that council is listening to you, though we may not respond to you. The floor is now open for individuals who want to make a comment specifically for item numbers 4 through 9 on our public agenda. Anyone else will have another opportunity to speak after the close out of item number 9 of our agenda. The floor is open.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. My name is Mike Hatcher. I live at 105 Rambling Creek Cove out in Byron, one of our annexed areas. On the number 9, before you make a motion or vote to reduce the number of members on the Veterans Issues Board, I would recommend that they send out at least let us know who they are, because I would more than happily be a part of that board as a retired Air Force veteran. That's an issue that's near and dear to my heart, and I would be more than happy to sit on that board, and I guarantee you can count on me to show up and do a few things that you need. On the other item that we're talking about changing or giving the assembly back rejoining the 2 properties, please approve that. That's, again, in my neighborhood, near and dear to my heart, and I know that those folks would do a good job with that property. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hatcher. Will there be any others to discuss a current agenda item? Going once, going twice. The door is now closed. Thank you so much. All right. All right. So there has been a request to make another revision to our agenda, which would move, if approved, the executive session to discuss personnel from its current revised location, which would be next on our agenda, moving it to after item number 4.
Mayor, I move to amend the agenda to move item 3B, which is a closed session personnel, to after the consent agenda item number 4.
Mayor, I'll second that.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. The agenda is now updated, so the next item that we will discuss is item number 4, the consent agenda, to be discussed by Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as is.
And I'll second.
All right, motion by Councilman Bibb, seconded by Councilman Lawrenson. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to announce all the people that are receiving their promotions, if I could. All these promotions, there's 11 of them, will go in effect March the 2nd, 2026, but I want to recognize these promotions today. Matthew Pitts is promoted from Utility Maintenance Worker 2 to Utility Department Equipment Operator. Anthony Chestnut is promoted from Heavy Equipment Operator to Utility Department Maintenance Crew Leader. James Freeman is promoted from Fire Lieutenant to Battalion Chief Operations. Robert Rogers is promoted from Fire Lieutenant to Battalion Chief of Operations. Brian White is promoted from Fire Lieutenant to Battalion Chief Operations. Jacob Grube is promoted from Fire Engine to the Department of Fire Lieutenant. John J. Gilbert is promoted from Fire Driver Engine to Fire Lieutenant. Cameron Thorne is promoted from Fire Driver Engine to Fire Lieutenant. Rochelle Bloyer is promoted from Firefighter to Fire Driver Engine. Christian Cook is promoted from Firefighter to Fire Driver Engine. And Gabrielle Floyd is promoted from Firefighter to Fire Driver Engineer. Congratulations.
All right, any further discussion before there's a vote? All those in favor of the promotions, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Madam Mayor, just for clarification, as you stated that, you stated a vote on the promotions, but not the full consent agenda.
Thank you for that clarification. I do stand corrected. I will repeat a call for the motion. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations on the promotions. We were just a little bit excited. And all those who may be present who was on this promotion list, if you will please come forward. Let's give a round of applause for all those who are being promoted. All right. Chief, deputy chiefs, etc., please come forward. And we will then ask any other firemen here, any other member of the Warner Robins Fire Department to join in a second photo.
Madam Mayor, just for the record, frequently we have penned those getting promotions at these ceremonies. The fire department has actually requested that be done in a separate ceremony so that more of the department can be present. So I just wanted to offer explanation for why that's not occurring here tonight. They will be recognized. They're going to be doing that as part of the larger fire family.
Thank you. Hold on one second. There's a request for council to get in the picture with you all, so hold tight.
Okay, we're getting ready to go to executive session.
Need a spring in my seat.
All right, now that all the fun is complete, the next up on our agenda is exiting for executive session to discuss personnel pending the proper motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. We are now exiting for executive session. We will get back there quickly, so we cannot stop and have too much conversation. We've got to get through 5 more items and try to see how many people are still here when we come back in. Feel free to go back to the back of the room if the Heritage Society is still there to look at some photos, have some cupcakes, and we'll look forward to seeing you, if you can stay, when we return. Thanks. All right, we're back from executive session. Thank you all for hanging in there with us. I request a motion to return to regular session.
I make a motion to return to regular session.
I second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrence and seconded by Councilman Bibb. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries. Now to amend the agenda, adding in item number 10, which will be entitled Resolution for a Temporary Amendment of the Sick Leave Policy.
Mayor,
I repeat, temporary amendment of the sick leave policy.
Mayor, I move to amend the agenda to add item number 10, which is a resolution for a temporary amendment of the sick leave policy.
Mayor, I'll second that.
Motion by Councilman Lawrence and seconded by Councilman Bibb. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Now, we are going into item number 5, which is a motion for the application for cemetery relocation permit to be discussed by Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I bring before you this evening a motion to approve the cemetery relocation permit application of the Annie C. Riles Trust, administered by John S. Riles, based on the information presented and following the duly advertised public hearing to grant the request to relocate the McCoy Matthews Riles burial ground, to accept the applicant's mitigation proposal, and to authorize issuance of the relocation permit in accordance with OCGA Section 36-72-6 through 36-72-8. I move for the adoption.
I second.
Motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 6 is a motion for a rezoning petition to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the rezoning request from the Assembly of Warner Robins Incorporated of a portion of the property, including all right-of-ways totaling plus minus 13.41 acres located along Gunn Road, directly adjacent to the north of 640 Watson Boulevard, from R4 multiple family residence to R1 single family district.
I second that.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 7, a resolution for a joint consent agreement to be discussed by Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I motion to approve a resolution to authorize Mayor LaRhonda W. Patrick to execute the attached joint consent agreement among the Georgia Public Service Commission, the Mid-State Energy Commission, Atlanta Gas Light Company, the City of Perry, and the City of Warner Robins, amending its pipeline and distribution certificates of public convenience and necessity for Houston County, Georgia, and petition of the Mid-State Energy Commission to amend the Houston County countywide safety plan.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? And this is a standard process, by the way. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 8 is an ordinance for a classification plan update to be discussed by Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the ordinance of the City of Warner Robins that the city classification plan be amended as follows. Deactivate the position of Compliance Training Officer, Job Class 971, Grade 17, Authorized Strength of 1, Utility Department. Deactivate the position of Pollution Control Coordinator, Job Class 927, Grade 16, Authorized Strength of 1, Utility Department. Deactivate the position of Utility Locate Crew Leader, Job Class 977, Grade 16, Authorized Strength of 1, Utility Department. Deactivate the position of Pollution Control Technician, Job Class 946, Grade 14, Authorized Strength of 1, Utility Department. create the position of Assistant Utility Maintenance Supervisor for Water, Job Class 947, Grade 16, authorized strength of 1, Utility Department. Create the position of Assistant Utility Maintenance Supervisor for Sewer, Job Class 948, Grade 16, authorized strength of 1, Utility Department. Increase the authorized strength of the Utility Maintenance Crew Leader for Water, Job Class 909, Grade 15, Utility Department by 1, changing from an authorized strength of 5 to an authorized strength of 6. Increase the authorized strength of the Heavy Equipment Operator for Water, Job Class 914, Grade 12, Utility Department by 1, changing from an authorized strength of 1 to an authorized strength of 2. And that the city's finance department is hereby authorized to transfer funds between departments and between line items within a department in the fiscal year of 2026 budget as necessary to facilitate the changes to the city's classification plan enumerated in this ordinance. And I will be waiving the second time of reading this.
I second.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? Please note that these recommendations do come from the department director in an attempt to solely improve operational efficiencies instead of having vacant positions out there that are unfilled and then other work being impacted. So I wanted to make sure I stated on the record, this is officially for operational efficiency at the recommendation of the department director. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. I'm looking for my agenda. Give me 1 second. Lost. All right, now we are on item number 9, an ordinance for Veterans Issues Board amendment to be discussed by Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance amending Article 6 of the City Code regarding boards, commissions, agencies, and authorities, and Ordinance 5-22 shall be amended to include a change to the number of board members, making the total 9 instead of 18. And I'd like to waive the second reading.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Mack, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Now we have item number 10 as amended, entitled a resolution to amend the sick leave pool policy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
To be discussed by Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolution, whereas by the resolution adopted on February 22, 2011, the mayor and the city council in the city of Warner Robins adopt a revised sick leave pool policy. And whereas one of the tenets of the policy requires that sick leave hours can be donated to the sick leave pool for use by a specific employee, but half of any such donated hours must go into the general pool, while the remaining half is given directly to the designated employee. And whereas the city has recognized the need to temporarily suspend that tenet of the policy in order to meet the needs resulting from an unusual and significant line of duty injury to an employee that will cause the employee to suffer a significant medical leave of absence. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the city council that the requirement that half of the sick leave hours donated to the benefit of the specific employee shall be suspended for a period of 60 days. This is read on the second day of March 2026, and I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Bibb, seconded by Councilman Mack. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to thank Mr. Drinker for giving this some attention. This is much needed. Thank you for your due diligence and wherewithal to correct what has been something that we consider a mistake in the past. Thank you for your efforts at this.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We have made it to the end of our agenda. And now we open to citizen comments. If you have any general comment to make, you do have your opportunity to approach the podium. You will have 3 minutes on the clock at the top of the rotunda. Please be sure to state your name and address for the record, and also note that council and I are listening to you, though we may not respond. The floor is now open for general comments. Going once.
Chief Wayne Fisher for the Warner Robins Police Department. I wish to thank Mr. Drinkard, Mayor and Council for your last vote. It impacts my department and one of my members. Again, it's heartfelt, and we greatly appreciate it and know that the city does support its employees, and I feel it was worthy for me to come up and express my gratitude to each and one of you for taking the stand you have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Fisher. Will there be any others? Going once, going twice. The floor is now closed. All right, now we have made it to now we have made it to council comments, and we'll be starting this week with Councilman Holmes.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I would like to first of all ask that you join with me in congratulating our mayor, Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick, for having been sworn into the Hall of Fame at Northside High School Saturday. I was very proud. I was glad to sit with she and her family on that honor. She's come a long way. She's continuing to go. I don't see a stop sign anywhere in front of this lady.
If there is one, I'm gonna knock it over.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Second, I'd like to thank Mrs. McSwain for her tireless work, for Ms. Christy Hall for going above and beyond the duty late into the evening and completing some things that many times we don't even know they're doing it. But I firsthand know they went up to at least 11 o'clock one night this past week in completing some requests. And then, of course, our mayor again for being sure that these type things are done and carried out. Many people think it's an 8-to-5 job. It's not. It's a job that takes whatever amount of time to carry out what's best for the citizens of this great city, the city of Warner Robins. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Ditto. All right, Councilman Curtis, you're up next.
Again, congratulations on your inductee into the Northside Hall of Fame. I just want to say I hope everybody had a great Black History Month and learned something new. I hope everybody Lent and Ramadan went well. And I just want to say it was an honor. I had a very busy week over the last 2 weeks. One was New York Fashion Week. Me and my wife was able to go to New York and walk on a big stage in New York during New York Fashion Week. They featured some of her clothing. That was truly an honor. Last Saturday before last, we actually held a fashion show here in Warner Robins. It was called the She Flawless Fashion Show. We raised a lot of money, and I promise a lot of that money will go back into the community to support our young individuals here in Warner Robins. And I just want to thank the mayor for coming out. I had the opportunity to walk on stage with the mayor doing that fashion show after she was inducted into the Northside Hall of Fame. But also, I just want to say thank you to the Northside cheerleaders, because they actually came and performed at that fashion show with a young lady by Naquel. She has a boutique called Trophy Wife, where my wife spent a lot of money. So shout out to Northside cheerleaders and the Quail and the Trophy White Boutique for help coming out and helping make that a very successful event. Also, it was an honor to be able to be in attendance at the Warner Robins CME 50th anniversary. That was a phenomenal event, great entertainment. I love Warner Robins CME. They have been a pillar in this community for the last 50 years, and I know even with their new leadership, it was most definitely it was an honor to see Reverend Jordan. That's my buddy. He has mentored me in more than many ways. He is a true leader here in Warner Robins, and it's also, I was honored to meet the new leadership, and I can see how they're going to continue moving the church forward, and you know, that's just great. It's great. Mr. Holmes, thank you for the invite. Congratulations on all of the promotions tonight in the fire department. Chief Wright has been doing a great job, and I most definitely got to say, Craig, you are always in our prayers. Thank you for everything that you do for the city of Warner Robins. We will always keep you uplifted. Also ask that my buddy, my little cousin, he is going through some things right now, Maurice. So I ask that y'all keep him in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Also, I'd like to say congratulations, Mighty Eagle, being inducted into the Northside Hall of Fame. Northside just keeps shining, I tell you. Eagles fly, don't they? With that being said, I'd also take a serious note to ask everybody to keep our soldiers, airmen, seamen, and Marines abroad. Keep them out of harm's way as our nation is in conflict across the board. They provide us with the very luxuries that we take advantage of every day. So please keep them at the forefront of our mind, thoughts, and prayers as they are underway. Our Navy personnel, airmen, just hope that minimal casualties on both sides of the party and we can reach a resolution to this conflict as soon as possible. On to some fashion, I'd like to announce as we enter into prom season, I think as every young ladies, it should be a rite of passage that they all have an opportunity to attend the prom and not go because of constraints of finances and things of that nature. With that being said, I'd like to announce that the Lending Hand, in association with Angelica Moody Russell, they're having a Night to Shine Prom Boutique, absolutely free, presented by the Lending Hand. To high school seniors are invited to shop for free for prom, cocktail, and evening dresses, shoes, and accessories. And so with that being said, I'd like to ask everyone to help a young lady go to the prom. If you have any gently used shoes, accessories, gowns, or anything, please donate them. The drop-off location is the Style Station at 4501 Russell Parkway, Suite 15 in Warner Robins, Georgia. And they'll be able to come and shop at the Curtis Center, which will be on March 21st from 12 to 3. And one of three, they'll be enter to win a glam session for hair and makeup for prom night. So everybody in our community gets to go to the prom. So please take advantage of that. With that being said, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bibb, you're up next.
Thank you, Mayor. You keep winning. Hope you don't get tired of it. Keep winning. And congratulations. Chief Fisher, it was an honor for us to do that. Humbled, very much so. And when people put their life on the line, it's humbling when you live in that city and you live up under that protection. A lot been said, there's a lot going on, but the greatest thing today is my beautiful bride over there has a birthday. And she is absolutely wonderful. I was telling Pastor Matt when he was sitting over there that she's probably got a 97% attendance here at the city council. Since I've been on city council for 6 years, she has supported me. And I don't know if y'all know that, but she's over there. She got my 6. She's always watching. See if somebody come up behind me or something like that. So she's looking out for me. She's my bodyguard. She looks out for me. She is a God sent from the Lord. God definitely put the greatest helpmeet in my life that I needed to be the man that I am, and I appreciate you and all that you do for me in my life. It is an honor to serve on this council. It is an honor to be a part of what's going on in the city of Warner Robins. A lot of the great things going on, and it is definitely humbling to be a part of that. God bless you, and everybody have a great night. And I will pray for Maurice, and God, we uplift him to you, him and his family. We ask that you move in his life in a great way. Touch him, be with him, guide him, direct him, give him wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Now, Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I know you see from time to time people inducted into the Hall of Fame over at Northside, and you have to be the youngest inductee ever, because most of them are like they've had a long life and had all these accomplishments, but you've done this in a relatively short period of time. So congratulations. So I think your acknowledgement is even more special because of how well you've done over the last many years, and just being, I think, the youngest person, I bet you had to be. So congratulations. All right. A couple of things. Ask you to be in prayer for a family of 12-year-old Ava Little from Byron who took her own life last week. Please be in prayer for that, and be in prayer for the school community at large. Also, a little 5-year-old boy choked last week. His mom was one of the admins at King's Chapel, and he lost his life as well. So please be in prayer for that family. Also, be in prayer for our country. As Mr. Councilman Mack said, our country, and especially our servicemen and women who put their lives on the line every day for us. And then, last but not least, happy birthday, Connie Bibb. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Now, Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To add to those prayer lists also, there was a young man from Houston County. He was a sophomore, lost his life this past weekend in an automobile accident. I'm not at liberty to say the name, but it's not my place to say the name, but you can see, and I think the school has done a good job. The Board of Education has done an excellent job with addressing it with the students and everything, but another young life lost early due to an automobile accident. Now on to some more happier things. Congratulations, Mayor. I was just looking up, though, where's Northside, Georgia?
It's in Northside, Georgia. We're in it right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it?
It's Northside, Georgia.
Is it? Mm-hmm. I have never seen it on the map.
Wrong map.
Oh, okay, never mind. In all seriousness, though, congratulations. That's awesome. I was in a couple of halls of fame at Warner Robins High School, but it was never a good one. So, but Detention Hall of Fame. But no. In all seriousness, it's an honor and a privilege to work with you and everybody up here and all of the staff and employees and living in this community. You know, we think about the military every day and everything that's going on in the world, and just remember that the sacrifice that these people are making allow us to sit up here and be jovial and have fun and do our jobs, but they're doing the hard work. And God bless our troops, God bless our country. And beyond that, everybody just love each other. I did have to go to a house today. There was a pretty significant murder up in Macon, family, daughter and a wife, dog and a cat, and the husband shot all of them and then killed himself. And we have the unfortunate job of cleaning that kind of stuff up, and I had to spend a lot of time in that house today, and it brings me back to a point we made before. When you get to that point in your life, you need to call somebody. Talk to somebody. There is nothing on this planet so bad that would lead you to do something like that. And you can't get out of that rut or get out of that situation unless you communicate with somebody. So please, pick up a phone, call somebody, call any of the hotlines that are out there, call a local church, call a pastor, call anybody that you can think of. Call 911 first and talk to them. But getting to that situation, and this was it's not a simple matter, but it was an eviction. It's not the end of the world. There's help out there. You just need to ask for it. So please, prevent this kind of thing from happening and talk to somebody. Get the help you need. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Well, you guys have certainly got me emotional up here. Prayers for everyone who is dealing with loss in our community. Prayers for individuals who are facing the potential of being unhoused. Prayers for individuals dealing with any type of mental trauma. And I like what everybody is saying, the message, the message that's being set up here, kind of showing you that the city government's here to support you, direct you, and we hope that everyone in our community is always safe. I also want to state a little bit of business before we close out. We do have the State of the City. Council and I have that on March the 11th, which is next Wednesday. Networking starts at 10 a.m., so that's when the doors open, and the program will begin at 10:30. All of us, well, many of us up here will be there. The new City Pulse will be given out at that time as well, the magazine that Council and I prepare annually to tell you a good flip through so you can see what's happening in the city of Warner Robins. I also want to say happy birthday. It's like you're almost one of the council members because you're always right here, like you said, having his six and making sure he behaves. And it lifts him up when, he gets emotional with his passions, as we all do. So we do appreciate you always being here for all of us and showing your support. I had another thing to say, but the emotional part kind of took its toll, and I don't remember what it is. But guess what? We're going to do it again in 2 weeks. So we'll see you at our next city council meeting. Hope to see you at our State of the City. And thank you all so much for being here and dedicated to staying through the end, even when our days run long. And thank you for being here when our days run short. Thank you for just being here and supporting us. And with that, I'm going to say that this meeting is adjourned. Enjoy your week.